And we had a contractor come out here. The problem is, once they started, we noticed that something did not look right. Something looked off. Welcome back. This week we're going to talk about floors.
Like I promised.
Like Sam promised.
I fulfill 100% of my promises 30% of the time.
So we're going to talk about picking out your floors, prepping your floors, picking the right contractor to install your floors, which is really important. And finally, we're going to talk about how much it all cost us.
What? I don't like paying for things. All right, so let's talk about picking your floors. So you have a couple different options. I'm gonna start from the most economical and then go up to Mr. Fancy Schmancy. So you can start off by just doing vinyl or laminate, which is basically like the glue-on little sheets. That's the cheapest type of flooring that you can do. From there, you go into luxury vinyl plank or LVP, or they have EVP, which is engineered vinyl plank. To be frank with you, I don't know the difference in those two, but I know that they're very similar. From there, you go up to engineered hardwood, which is basically a plywood level, and then your veneered finished hardwood on top of that. So it's a thin layer on top of the plywood, which gives you the full 1/2 inch or 9/16 or 3/4 thickness. And then the top X amount of millimeters is the actual wear layer, which is the white oak or the red oak or whatever finish that you want. And then from there, we go to solid plank, which is Beverly Hills, Tampa, Miami on the beach water. I don't know, it's crazy. It's like $10, $15, $20 a square foot just for material. And it's straight slab of white oak. I feel like white oak is the only wood that I know. Maple, whatever hardwood that you want, whatever slab that you want. Engineered is what we decided to go with on this project. And that's for 2 reasons. Number 1, to have the luxury finish. Number 2, because of the cost. Number 3, I just have a personal opinion about homes in general. I don't think they're required to have a 20-year lifespan. These floors are good enough for a 10-year lifespan. I think after like 10 years, things get out of style and you want to upgrade anyways. From here, let's talk about prepping the floors.
So there are 2 main types of foundation, at least in Los Angeles. You have slab on grade and you have raised foundation. So we have here
slab on raised foundation.
Slab on grade, no.
Raised foundation here. And the reason we have raised foundation is because we had the existing wall that we had to adhere to. So you guys can check out our previous videos to kind of see why we did that.
And in our previous videos, we talked about how to prep your floors with a raised foundation. So real quickly going over it, you want to make sure you straight edge it before you put your subfloor plywood on. While you're putting your subfloor plywood, you want to make sure that they are gluing the joists before they put the subfloor on. Very important to use ring nails to secure the subfloor to the joist.
It basically has little rings around the tip of the nail that helps it from moving in and out of the floor joist.
And then what we did is an extra step of screwing down the floors. So you screw it down to eliminate any squeaking, because we don't want our floors squeaking. Once you have your subfloor all set up, now you gotta prep with how you're gonna put your floors down. The subfloor is not perfect. It will not be perfectly level. It will not be perfectly straight. So there's different ways, depending on your type of foundation, of how you're supposed to level it out and make it nice and straight.
Slab on grade is a lot easier to level and straighten out, we've come to find out, because they just pour self-leveling concrete on there.
Yeah, they just put an extra layer of concrete on there for any low points. It'll level out and you'll have a nice clean floor.
They basically clean the slab on grade concrete. They use a primer adhesive sort of material that they kind of paint on, and then they pour the self-leveling adhesive and level it out.
With a raised foundation like ours, where you have plywood subfloor, you have to actually shave down all the high points and actually add material on all the low points.
Shaving down on high points is easy and common sense. How do you bring up low points the right way?
The right way, keyword right way. You actually need to add material like this to your subfloor.
You glue this on with wood glue. The same glue that you're gonna use for your engineered or hardwood floors if you're doing that. And you glue these down and then you shave them down.
And makes it nice and flat and flush.
Now what do you not do?
What you don't do is what you're gonna see in a clip here where you pour self-leveling concrete on your wooden subfloor.
Before cleaning your wooden subfloor and leaving dust there, which creates separation and a bunch of other problems that we also discussed in a previous video. And this actually leads into our next point, is picking the right contractor to install your flooring. We had a problem with that, and you could use these steps and this information to kind of talk to your contractors to figure out what they plan on doing and figure out who you want to and don't want to work with.
Yeah, so this is something that we learned. We did not know how to level out these floors, how to make them nice and flat.
We know how to do them, just not how to do them properly.
Yeah, we knew how to do them. We had only heard of the self-leveling concrete, so that's what we thought was needed here. And we had a contractor come out here, say that's what they were gonna do. They're gonna add self-leveling concrete and make these floors nice and flat for us. The problem is, once they started, we noticed that something did not look right. Something looked off.
Key point, if your subs or contractors or whoever's doing work on your job site does not come to your job site with used tools and comes with a brand new set of tools, that is a red flag. That is a major red flag. It's not always a problem because everybody needs to buy their new tools, but if all their tools are brand new, that's a problem. The second red flag was when they poured it on, they had just broomed the floors and not properly cleaned and vacuumed them. And I was like, hey, there's still a layer of dust here, especially with the drywall and stuff, there's a thin layer of dust. Like, are you gonna clean it? It's fine, it's fine. Right in front of me, I know we discussed in a previous video, I saw the concrete coming apart and I picked up one of the concrete self-leveling bags and it basically said there that it's meant for concrete floors and
So
not wood.
slab on grade floors.
Yes, and
not
not
wooden subfloors.
And there's where the confrontation happened and they ended up leaving and we ended up finding our new contractor. So what we did with our contractors, because we discussed with a lot of them before we picked our first mistake of a contractor, I guess, is go over the project, walk through it, point out what your needs are. For us, we had a specific need with shadow moldings. You know, we've talked about this in a lot of our videos. This is very important to us. This was a detail that's very unique. We wanted to make sure that it was someone that had worked with shadow moldings and was comfortable with shadow moldings. We also wanted to work with someone that knew what they were doing and had installed floors before. But basically, once you find your sub, quote them out, work with the one that best fits your needs. Make sure to discuss what you expect from the job and also ask them how they're gonna prep the job site, work on it, how they're gonna glue, what their techniques are. Because if you take away some stuff from our video and you take that to the subs and you realize they don't know what they're talking about, it's a great way to avoid a bunch of headache in the future.
Make sure you're paying attention the first day they show up. You can catch a lot of red flags the first time they're on your job site actually going to work.
Then why'd you miss the red flag with those guys? Because you're the one that hired them. I never even met them.
I don't know what you're talking
Everything is Eddie's fault. Everything. So once we met with our flooring contractor, who ended up being Mendoza Flooring. If you guys are interested and need a flooring contractor in the LA area, make sure to follow us on Instagram, hit me in the DMs and I'll send you guys his information. Also, while we're here in the video, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe bell and that notification bell if you already haven't. Now we're gonna jump into
picking out your floors, because we haven't picked our floor yet in this video.
We discussed the types of floors. We basically decided to go with engineered hardwood. And here's a plank, but you guys can see the floors in the house as well. It's beautiful, Eddie.
Yes, it's your beautiful white oak look. It's important to go around to places and find what floors you want. Now there's two types of flooring stores that we realized, which are discount hardwood stores and manufacturers or people who stock manufactured goods. Now, the discount stores,
they'll carry overstock or basically end-of-life products that are not going to be produced anymore, which, to be honest with you, you could probably get a better deal on, but you end up having to buy so much more extra flooring that it kind of weighs it out. And if you don't buy enough, you are SOL. So you are going to be stuck with not enough floors and possibly not able to finish your house or have to use different floors in a different room. It's a problem. We opted to go with finding a manufacturer that sells direct. So these floors are actually from Bel Air Floors, also known as discount hardwood floors. They don't generally sell to the public. So if you guys need to hook up there, again, make sure to hit us up. We're more than happy to.
But I thought you said don't go to discount stores.
It's not a discount store, it's a manufacturer. They're just called discount hardwood floors. What do you want me to do?
We decided to go with them. It was a little more expensive than what we had found previously for these floors, but we still decided to go with them because we can order extra floors if we need it. And we ended up actually needing it. We picked up 2 new boxes this morning because we were running out. That's really helpful, and we might actually need to pick up another box as well.
Having access to the flooring, because they manufacture, this is one of their main lines, it makes life so much easier, honestly, and spending that extra 30 cents per square foot or 20 cents or whatever it is for that peace of mind, I think is worth it. It's also beneficial in the future if you need to fix something, you'll have easier access to those floors. The other thing with engineered hardwood floors is the thickness of the wear layers. So our floors, I believe, are 3mm wear layer, which gives you about 1 sanding life, 1 to 2, depending on how good your refinisher is. So let's say in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, however long your floors last for you, you need to resurface them. You can go ahead and do that one time with these floors. They also come in 6mm, 10mm, 12mm, and then full slab regular hardwood floors. So now that you've chosen your floors, now you gotta order them.
You gotta get them delivered to the job site. It's important for your floors to be here about a week without being touched. It's gotta get used to...
Acclimation.
It's gotta acclimate to
I know big words.
Humidity of this area, because they ship it from downtown LA, which is different than where we are. So you want your floors to sit here and get any kind of warping moving around based on the humidity that's normal to this area. So once your floors have acclimated, that's when you can call your installer to come in and start putting the floors in.
During the installation phase, basically what happens is they come out here with all their magnificent tools.
Dirty tools.
Dirty tools, not clean. The first thing that they did here on our job site was draw a line, which is gonna be your straight line. So basically cut up the hardwood floors into like 4-inch sections and drew a laser line and nailed those pieces down and used that as a straight line to continue off of. This ensures that he's able to have a straight line and you don't have any small pieces in the ends. Very smart thing to do, and they basically take that from one room and go through the whole house. So we took our main entryway, because that's the main focal point, that's the most viewable point, and we made sure that was straight all the way to the back of the house. And then from there, they moved on to the rest of the house and then to the bedrooms. While they were gluing the floors down, they were also nailing them down.
So to install these floors, what you do is you put some glue on the floor, you put some glue on your planks, and then you start putting your floors down onto the ground. The floors do have a tongue and groove that the floors need to interlock into each other with. They connect the floors together. Then once it's down there, glued on, they have this really fancy nailing thing where he puts it on the edge and hammers in by hand flooring nails or whatever.
They're very thin, like finishing type nails.
And they do it right on the side, so you can't actually see it when you have all the floors together. Once you do that, you can't really separate these floors anymore. They're pretty much stuck into each other. Now, fixing any mistakes would be a lot more work at this point. It does avoid a lot of the squeaking by nailing down the finished layer floors as well, but we did have some squeaking. What do we do with some of the squeaking that we
So the squeaking areas, you kind of have 2 options. The first option, which solved our problem, is the more easier option, is to hit some finishing nails through the actual floors, the hardwood floors on top, and then finish over it with some of the same colored putty. And it's literally not noticeable at all. When I came back, I couldn't figure out where they had nailed it because I wasn't here when they did it. The other option is if it's really, really bad squeaking, you can actually take a chisel and chisel into your wood, peel it back, throw in a screw, put it back and glue it, put some pressure on it or clamp it down, and that way your screw is hidden underneath. Another thing that's important when ordering your floors is picking the right glue. So we got Super Bond Dry Tack 7300.
Don't say it like that.
Super Bond Dry Tack 7300. Is this the right one?
This is the right one.
Is this the one we ordered?
No. We don't know much about glue. What my understanding is, what we ordered is the 7700 version of this, and that is for concrete foundations. The guys at Discount Hardwood Floors were looking out for us, and they asked us, hey, do you have a slab on grade or do you have a raised foundation? And we said raised, and they said, oh, you ordered the wrong glue. You need the 7300, not the 7700. So they gave us the 7300. Sam was really sad to hear that there was no price difference. It was not cheaper.
I want to save money where I can.
It was the same price, so that wasn't a big deal. So they just gave us the 7300, even though our invoice says 7700.
Now, once your floors are installed, you got to pay them because that's the fun part.
Yes.
The happy ending, as they say, right?
For them, not for us.
$10,390.42 was the cost of our hardwood floors with tax and everything. We ordered roughly about 2,000 square feet. It's give or take, I don't remember exactly.
But that's just the hardwood.
And then we got to glue them down. And glue is a lot more expensive than you may think. I did not anticipate this cost.
So the glue was $2,562.10 for all the glue. We bought 18 of these jugs here.
4 gallons each.
4 gallons each.
A lot of glue. From there,
we need to pay Mendoza.
Alex Mendoza. He's actually a great guy, very fun to work with. We paid him $5,000. He charges $2.50 per square foot. Listen, price per square foot is gonna vary if you have 500 square feet. If you have 5,000 square feet, your price per square foot is gonna be all over the place. So take into account, this is, I guess, a medium-sized house.
Yeah, and Alex wanted to really work with us, so he gave us a little bit of an extra discount. So no promises that he's gonna give you the same price, but that's what he gave us.
So $5,000 is what we paid there, which brings our magic total to
$17,952.52.
$8.98 per square foot for the entire house, engineered hardwood installed. These are actually 7.5-inch planks. If you went with 6.5 or 6 or 5-inch or 4-inch, it'd be a much cheaper. So take that into account. If you go with much larger, add about $1 per square foot, roughly speaking, and that should give you an idea of their cost for the floors. That's it for this week's video. If you guys enjoyed this week's video in the new format, let us know in the comments below and give us a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe and join the SCFSU family and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. We upload every Friday at 4 p.m.
And follow us on Instagram. Let us know if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today.
You guys can keep more update on Instagram with our job flow because these videos are a lot more focused on specific areas, so we can be as informative to you guys as possible. But on Instagram, you can follow our entire project. We'll see you guys next week.